So we are like minutes away from nuclear Armageddon. And if you guys are wondering where I'm currently filming, well, I decided to skip on over here to Maine before the end of the world. It looks like the stock market is still selling off, so that's good. All you
Salut
guys
tout le monde,
are
Rixa.
basically
On se
rolling
retrouve pour une
into
petite
cash.
matinée des BD et on continue.
I could see
Survivant.
that, but I'd say rather than rolling into
Tranquille.
cash, maybe learn how to trade cash. Go from one cash into the other to actually look a little bit better in your portfolio. Oh, and it looks like job numbers came in, so we will see. Is it time for the Fed
Essayer
to
d'accumuler
pivot?
un max de poids de
Let's
sang.
dive into my computer and take a look. But before we do that, take a look at this. Hold on, did I do this right? Take a look at that. Is that cool or what? Come, let's go get some lobster. You and me, lobster. So welcome to my humble abode, also known as a hotel room. I feel like Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. U.S. stockpiles, anti-radiation drugs. What? Come on. You're like, but that's the Drudge Report. They're so one-sided. Hold on. I got more for you, Scott. Biden warns of nuclear Armageddon.
J'ai jamais joué sur là.
Now I've been wanting to talk about this one. Putin isolated in a bunker. Now, I have not been able to confirm that one, but if it's coming from, wow, Yahoo News, okay, I guess I'll take it. And it looks like all the soldiers are like, you know what, we kind of don't want to do this war thing, sir. Is there like another job? Bravo, get off of Drudge, get off of Yahoo, give me something more reliable, like Bloomberg. Okay, Biden says Putin threats real. And that means he could really improve in the polls. That's the president thing to do. Could spark nuclear Armageddon. And I say it looks like we're probably going to have a lot of different Armageddons in our lifetime. Depends on how long that is. So my lifetime's going to last. But I look at these stories, not long. Peter Schiff also says not just what's going on in political realm, but we have a massive fiscal time bomb. Look at all this debt. Now they said, they're like, oh, well, the debt's not so bad, you know, it's only $500 billion. We can just print more bonds to pay off the debt. And then they're saying, oh, it's 10 years. No, it's like 5 years. And actually, he says, I'll quote him. Yes, I am a friend of Peter's, a good guy. We could be paying $1 trillion in interest in one year, right there, just 12 months. How are these guys getting 10 years? Now, I'm not, I tried to teach math in junior high. They said I can't. So I'm not calculating the math. But we create bonds to pay for more debt, to create more debt, to pay for more debt, to supply the whole world with dollars. It's just this never-ending, horrific, scenario that's not going to end well. I mean, look at the last mess that we just, 10 trillion? Just, oh, it's bad. It's really bad. Everyone go lock yourself down. We'll just go ahead and issue 10 trillions worth of bonds. It's okay. You'll just have to pay it back in your taxes. What's this next one going to look like? And as I'm looking through the story, that's not just the only one.
L'autre, il a le profil privé. Presque 700 heures, elle.
Huge. And when this thing goes, when you're like, you know, I don't think the whole let's make debt money thing is working, which it's not. It's basically wiping out all of the middle class, lower class. It's taking the top 1%. It's juggernaut. You're like, oh my gosh, I got so. That is what this Keynesian system, which if you go back a couple videos, I basically took you through where it was all done in 1944. That was Bretton Woods, when they're like, hey, why don't we not use gold for money? We'll just use the dollar for money and have gold on the side. And then we'll, in 1971, we'll go ahead and say you really don't need to peg the gold to the dollar. And then all hell broke loose. That's why you now have to get 12 jobs just to survive. Now our government will say, oh, one person has 12 jobs? That's a lot of employment. Look at these employment numbers. No, it's, hey, Brian, it's one guy with a whole lot of jobs. Don't count that as like a bunch of full-time jobs just because he's driving for Uber. Oh, there's one. Lyft. Oh, now he has 2 jobs, and he works at the bank. 3, Bank of England. Now, this is all over the world. Says pension funds were hours from disaster before it intervened. Well, that is because of this system that we created of debt is money and bonds are good and debt is great. Well, it's great until you cut off the supply and then the whole world starves and it all blows up. This war thing, and then we reset it, and you just have to make sure you have all the pieces in place before you pull that whole great reset thing where you'll own nothing and rent from the elites who are the top zero. And we continually go through these boom bust cycles uh, every single time. Prices go up, prices go down, prices go up, prices go down. Apartment demand. Now I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, apartments.
D'où une femme. Oh, super. Bon bah, 3 c'est quasi mort en fait. On va essayer de faire un max de points hein, quand même avec l'autre qui a des quoi. Il nous laisse un peu tranquille on dirait. Je sais pas. Il n'y a pas vierge de fer. Le truc des stacks des casiers là, c'est ça. Hein. Je vais chercher mes potes. Elle comprend pas trop, je crois. On va chercher l'aggro un peu. Au moment où je venais, quoi, elle tombe. Bon bah tant pis. J'ai pris la coupe pour rien là. Possible. Il est bien lui avec 3 survivants. Hein. T'as pas le temps, tu soignes, tu fais même pas gêner et l'eau tombe. Ouais. Elle va tomber. Ouais. Bon, fini le générateur quand même. Oh là, c'est chiant ça. Ah, c'est chiant, hein, tu peux rien faire. Faut exploser encore sur notre gueule ici. Ah non, même pas. Oh la merde. Là, il régresse à mort, quoi. À mourir. Elle est morte. L'autre va mourir et puis... si je trouve la trappe, ouais. Non. Elle est pas gênée par ici? Merde.
Ah ouais, bah super les gars, moi je peux pas prendre la radio.
C'est la Chili. Bon, trappe ou mourir. Ouf.
On
Bon, on va continuer, ça va. On a pu s'échapper en étant qu'à 3, c'est cool. Cool.
It's so expensive. I'm like, just give it time. Wait till we roll into the Great Depression. It'll cool a little bit. What about the housing market? It's gonna cool too. What about food?
Oui, mais est-ce que
What
c'est
about
vrai?
everything costs?
Je
Yes,
pense que c'est bien à
everything
5 secondes.
will go down because we are all broke. Well, unless you live in California and you just got your new stimmy of over $1,000. That's great. I guess Newsom's solved the inflation problem. Apartment demand unexpectedly fell during its busiest season, according to a new report. Huh. Well, that's a shocker. But bravo, all this bad news, the nuclear Armageddon, everything that's going on. How does that? Because you teach stocks. Well, it actually doesn't. Which I've been telling you that for 492 years. Nuclear Armageddon. I have to laugh just even thinking about this. And the stock market, not correlated. I mean, we had a sitting president that got lead poisoning in the back of a vehicle, right? Died. And the stock market that week went up. And then I tell you over and over, you can make money going up, you can make money going down. And looks like the going down, you're making some money here. The Dow down almost 2%. Maybe at the end of the day, someone will come in and save it. Russell down 2.5%. NASDAQ, woo, shedding almost 3%. I bet my Tesla short is probably looking good. And I actually do hate taking out a trade on this channel because then everyone's like, where's your position? What, are you losing money? You gaining money? What are you doing? Well, by the looks of it, Stan, I put a little, I right click and I click sell. That's what you do. Also, take a look at my new course, yay, on how to make money going down by playing things like this triangle. Right now, the course is 200, but it's going up very quickly once I'm done filming. And also, I have limited codes down below. I have feedback. You have my personal email. You're like, hey, Bravo, you misspelled bear. So take advantage of that. If the coupons are gone, just come back tomorrow. Again, I can't have everyone flooding in, and I'm like, I screw up because that definitely happens. I'm like, it's overbought, and then it's like, it's oversold. There's certain stupid words that I'm not very good in my English. But looking at on the Tesla, look at your RSI. That thing it's gonna bounce. So don't think I'm, Johnny B over here is not going to be taking profit. MACD looking sweet. All right, more room to the downside. Looking at this, I'm going to take my first exit. I have it placed right there. I'm going to exit at 213. Started short in 254.24. We're at 230. I'm in the win. But as you know, you need to take profit. So grab the course, learn how to make money going up and down. And what I mentioned earlier was the
Non, mais c'est chiant ça. Vraiment, c'est. Pas trop compliqué, quoi.
Elle est tombée vite, hein. Oh là 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 là, même pas on est 4. Ouais. Oh, elle en a rien à foutre, regarde.
Les deux. J'ai mis les deux.
Mais lol. Je sais pas s'il y va ou... Je vais y aller moi.
Non, tu peux y aller.
Accroche, hein.
Oh, pas dans le bon.
Souvent ils pensent que tu te barres alors que t'es juste à côté. Je pense qu'il me cherchera moi. Hein. Trop longue la longe. Hein. Est-ce que j'aurais mieux fait de continuer à rester autour du gêné? Je sais pas. Regarde les deux là-bas, ils jouent à deux là, ils se sont dépendus, ils se dépendent, ils marchent, ils s'en foutent. Oh là 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 là. Elle est nulle elle. Hein. Malheureusement pour elle. Oh là 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 là. Peut-être bloqué un peu, mais... On va essayer d'aller soigner là-bas. Merde. Chaud, hein. Qui me gratte. Merde, c'est que je suis là, je pense. Attends. Camper, pas camper, regarder de loin, comme ça après on vient sur moi direct. Ah putain, j'ai cru qu'elle allait dans le trou là où j'étais. Mais non. Dommage. Elle n'est pas tombée dans le piège, j'aurais dû courir. Tant pis. Le gars il dit quand même. Ah, je pense qu'il est poursuivi. Ouais, je pense. Bah ouais. Il cavale en plein milieu de la map, genre. Ça va, Adri? Tout se passe bien? C'est cool, t'es calme. Bon bah nous sommes morts. Ce genre là, regarde, il joue mec Thomas. Ah non, il avait 0 perk. Oh, c'est pas grave.
Dollar, which I've said on that one, swing trade it. Also, link in the description if you're new. Start with my swing trade. Just learn how to swing trade the dollar. Also, this is just paper trading money. There's actually a trade on this channel because that's scary. That's what those rich people do, and we don't want to do that. Wow, I'm just like looking at these markets. Looks horrible. Bitcoin still in the 19s. Yuck. Like if you want to trade it, UUP. You might even want to tighten up your trading for 4 hours. Also, when you have volatile, you get a bump above the Bravo 9. I have 2 lines up. People are like, I'm so confused. Like if you put in a buy order, right when it clears that little red line, that's it. You get it right, it stays above, puts the beat down, boop, put in a buy. It rides it up, it closes below it. Okay, you exit. Gets a beat down, puts it goes
Ben aimé qu'il me donne le niveau 3, mais bon.
above, or wherever, just get it above. Come on. Come on, Brad, you can do this. Just look at those yields above my head. Look, the Fed.
Alors lui son profil, il a combien d'heures de jeu à ce qu'on voit? Ah, bannissement VAC. Dead by Daylight, 74 heures. Oh là 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 là.
When that happens, then the Fed will go, oh, I'm going to pivot. Here, let me see this. See that orange line down there? Yeah, he has some
ça va être dur, ça.
Orange line, this guy right here, that's the Fed funds rate. That's between the banks. The banks are flush with cash right now. And to do a loan, they don't care. They're just like, come on, get that loan at 7%. Which currently, how many banks are lending? That would be 0, because you are like, do I look like an idiot? Oh, and just in case I forgot the story for you about how everyone's fleeing into cash, investors fleeing to cash. Well, hopefully it's not just sitting in your bank account. Hopefully you're trading UUP, something. You're getting, a percent on your cash. Like it's 2020, B of A strategist says. Now, I need to be clear with you. what I'm saying right now in 3 months could all change very quickly. So when we're like, bull market, yay, it's a bull market. When it's a bear market, it's a bear market. And you have to trade every stock, every line based on not the news.
Macmillan. J'aime bien aussi cette map.
I'll see you dead.
Fuck.
You actually think you can defeat
Ça sera trop long. Putain. Désolé, je voulais prendre un coup pour lui, mais... Ah, elle est déjà soignée à moitié. Fuck. M'a pas vu?
Vas-y, dis à Théo, faut y aller. Dis à Théo, faut y aller.
You disappoint me. Is that the best you've got?
J'ai fait blocage à la porte. J'avais pas vu qu'il one-shotait. Si j'avais pris l'autre truc. L'autre truc, j'arrive à me libérer avec l'autre truc. En tombant de haut. Il faut vraiment que j'essaye peut-être ce truc là. Il pète le... Ah non, il fait gêner. Lui il se fait poursuivre on dirait. Ouais. Ah, déco, ça fait plaisir.
Let's finish this.
Ouais, je dois au téléphone. Chaud, hein. Tueur, là. D'ailleurs, tu sais quoi, attends. Ouais, mais il n'y a pas de... Toujours plus 100% pour les survivants. Je joue pas survivant. Je joue pas tueur pour le moment.
Based on the charts that are in front of your face. Also, if for some reason you're like, but Bravo, I don't want to trade. Well, okay, you could, okay, you don't have to trade. You can actually just wait and be an investor. And this is in my bear market course also. It's the 200. See, there's a white line right there. I'm turning it on. If you want to know how to turn it on, you click here. You go 200 week. Click back up. 3 lines right now. You got my Bravo 9, disregard. You got this blue line right here. That is your S&P 500. This is SPX. If you want to trade it, it would be ticker symbol SPY. It's currently at $365.92, but it just changed. It bounced right off the 200, like I said it would, and it's probably going to retest. But once it breaks underneath that, you see, you only had a couple days underneath that during the last recession. They actually called it a recession. Yes, this one, until we have elections, it's not.
Merde, j'ai pas pu voir son profil.
Underneath that, if you want to know, like, oh, where's the or where can I start catching falling knives in a bear market? That would be underneath that line, but we bounced. So guess you're gonna have to wait for it a little bit longer, Stan. So if this is anything like 2008, when I sold everything, all my rental properties, my real residence, kind of like what I just did, everything, stonks, you name it, you're gonna have to wait, okay? So it's not like, I mean, you're going to be underwater. If it's like the last one, you will be underwater for 880.
Est-ce que je pousse?
Ah, bouge, dégage. Y'a Michael.
On va voir. Venez. Une complaise.
Fuck. Fuck. Alors il est où putain? Mais... Il était invisible. Je le voyais pas. Oh putain. Oh, y a plus de palettes ici. Oh, vas-y. Il a décidé de me focus.
T'as quitté la gueule. La pub va revenir.
Je vais pas avoir assez. Ah si.
Il y a l'autre qui- il y a l'autre qui va des amis de deux. Et il y a l'autre qui va prendre l'autre. Il y a l'autre.
Ok, c'est le tueur. Je croyais que c'était un survivant maintenant. Ok.
Il y a- Ah,
Parce qu'il est tombé là-bas.
et toi? Ok.
Il veut me buter moi. Ah putain, il a voulu me tuer moi, hein, salopard. Ah, il avait des sorts sympas lui étant parenté. On est sur le crochet, ça aide la team. Lui, renouvellement pour récupérer le statut là. lien et gardien. Oh, c'était cool. Et pas si... Je suis pas si fort que ça, j'ai pas regardé les sorts du tueur, mais... Ça devient chaud pour lui, je trouve, de buter tout le monde.
Dollar cost averaging in, but also you're going to lose almost 50% of your portfolio in that amount of time. So there's two things that you gotta suck it up, Buttercup, and be okay with. Same thing happened in the Great Depression, but a whole lot longer. But it would go up, it would go down. So you had time. It wasn't like the Great Depression was the entire time. You actually had bear market rallies that you made a whole lot of money in. Well, that's if you know how to trade. But thank you guys. Take advantage of how to trade in a bear market. Link in the description, and I will see you tomorrow because I film every single day of my life, even though I don't have to.
Merde, il a coupé ce que je regardais, lui.
Bye, folks.
Ça, ok.
Canadian Prepper here. My friends, in the last 24 hours, the nuclear rhetoric has been off the charts. Things that we never thought presidents would say, they are saying once again. And of course, we've been saying it all along. Now, I want to share a very interesting resource with you today. This is an interactive map of 2,000 Cold War era bunkers across Canada. This was put together by a professor at Carleton University who represents the Canadian War Museum. And if you click on any of these points, and it's amazing how many fallout shelters that the government built in secret, mind you, during that period of time. They really thought that the Shizzy was going to...
Forêt rouge. Le spectre? Oh là 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 là. Encore un mec qui connaît super bien la map. Avec ces drapeaux LGBT, je supporte pas ça quoi. Ouais. Fils de... Il m'énerve lui. Ouais, ça met 3 plombes à soigner quoi.
Hit the fizzy. For example, here's one that was built in Rosetown. This is a fallout reporting post, a basement shelter located in the RCMP detachment, equipped with a radiac meter, which is like a Geiger counter, and dosimeters linked by radio and telephone to Saskatoon. So the purpose of this network and these fallout reporting shelters was to gather information from what was going on the ground, because it was thought that, you know, if there was a war between the Soviets and the Americans at the time, there'd be a lot of radiation fallout. So you wanted to kind of map out and bring all this information to filter centers, which would report to provincial centers, which would then report to the federal government by some method of long-range comms. So I find this fascinating that somebody put the work into doing this. And some of these shelters are, you know, real deal built for the purpose of military shelters. Most of them are going to be retrofitted postal offices, you know, like federal postal offices, railway stations, RCMP basements, hospitals, schools, military installations, but they all followed a standard blueprint. So it wasn't just, you know, they found a basement somewhere and they called it a fallout shelter. they all had to fulfill a certain set of standardized criteria. And, you know, there was mortar-filled blocks, cinder blocks, and, you know, you want at least 3 feet of earth between you and any sort of gamma radiation source. As shown here, this is why if you have no other option, the best thing you can do if you have a basement, a lot of places in Canada have basements, not all, but definitely out here in the prairies, everybody's got a basement, then you want to, if at all possible, if it's not fully under the ground, you want to push sand up against the sidewalls of your house. This is going to somewhat attenuate the gamma radiation. Now, there are many other options for you to consider, you know, if you don't have a basement. One place that I think it would be overlooked would be a parkade. Parkades are not only, typically they're underground for starters, but not only are they underground, usually there's no windows, usually it's heavy duty, steel reinforced, concrete with
How are these? Do they get second filters?
Merde. Focus, hein. T'es quel fils de...
With concrete and, you know, built to withstand large amounts of weight because, of course, you're parking all these cars on, you know, these many levels. So you'd want that to be built very strong. You could also consider things like subways. So if you live in a major metropolitan area, then a subway is probably your best bet. Underground hospitals, I know here in some of the universities in Saskatchewan, they have underground networks of tunnels because it is kind of cold. And this is a way that some buildings work their logistics is through underground tunnels, hospitals. So you're definitely obviously going to want to do research within your own area with respect to where you could potentially go to if you didn't have your own bunker or fallout shelter. But it's worth knowing where the Cold War era bunker was within your region. Whether it's defunct or not, you know, a lot of these are probably still perfectly usable. Obviously, they're not going to be outfitted with modern amenities, but I'm really surprised at how many of these fallout shelters there were, because you need to understand there wasn't a lot of people in Canada back in 1959, maybe 10 million probably at best, maybe 15. But even then, you know, for a country this large, and if you look at places like up here in northern Manitoba, I mean, there was more fallout reporting centers than there were people at that time. And I don't know if most of these are probably just, like Hudson's Bay Company, which at the time was one of the companies that actually, you know, preceded the Confederation of Canada in a lot of ways. So, you know, they probably performed a lot of those functions. So yeah, a lot of these, you know, they're probably just going to be basements, but it's just amazing at this vast network that I never knew even existed up until today. So go and check that out. I will post a link to it in the description, and I'm also going to post a PDF where the professor from Carleton goes into great depth about the history of these reporting stations and what they were all about. And I'm also taking note of the fact that this was done in secret. So this is something you're going to want to keep in mind, is that it goes back to what we've been saying for the longest time, is that the government has to do these things in secret, not only for national security purposes, but also, let's face it, for continuity of government. Because as much as we might not like the fact that the elites and our government officials are probably going to save themselves, it's kind of like an all-star game. You know, you have to pick somebody to survive, and or somebody to play the game. And of course, they're going to pick themselves. They will deem themselves most essential, although I'm sure that there's definitely
Il sait qu'on fait les gênés à deux. Oh là là. Merde. Ils sont fait comme une grosse merde. Là ça focus hein. Mais y a pas le temps hein. Moi, j'aurais essayé. Hein.
Consideration for critical infrastructure and people who work in those areas. You're going to want to keep a certain amount of engineers. You're going to want to keep a certain amount of doctors and farmers and people who can, perform those trades that you're going to need to rebuild society. It's important to know, however, that this will be kept in secret from us. And I think that were this to happen today, it wouldn't be different. Because you don't want your fallout shelters to be overrun by mobs of people. And as much as we might think, oh, that's so selfish of them, I mean, you got to look at it from a pragmatic point of view. Either a few people of your civilization survive or nobody does, and it just turns into anarchy and lawlessness. So while it would be nice that the government would make a bunker for each and every one of us, we know that that's not really economically feasible. But, you can take the initiative upon yourself to know where these fallout shelters are in your community. And like I say, a lot of the times, a simple basement that's reinforced with some sand, you don't have to obviously do it now, but you want to maybe have the capability to do it. So that could just mean having a bunch of sandbags at the ready, or just having sand or some method of reinforcing the side of your house. If you don't have a house, you don't have a basement, just like our good old friends at the New York PSA have indicated, go to the center of a building as far away from the windows as you can. Try to get away from that, but there's a good chance that you're probably a goner if you're within the blast zone. Another interesting app that you might want to consider is called Nuke Map. Okay, this is a map that we've talked about, and actually the communist cameraman, his wife's in labor today, so shout out to them. I hope everything goes well with that. But let's detonate a Tsar bomb here. Let's see what would happen. Let's go to New York, because that's where everybody knows, right? So let's go to New York City. Now, let's see what happens. Okay, well, we're there. All right. Let's see what happens if we detonate the world's largest nuclear bomb that was ever detonated, the Tsar Bomba. Okay, we're going to do an air burst because we're going to minimize radiation. Actually, let's do a surface burst, and that way it will show us the radiation. Oh, radioactive fallout. Okay, let's detonate that again. Okay, so Tsar Bomba, the amount of casualties, if that ever occurred, let's see it, list of casualties here. Let's detonate that again. Okay, how many casualties we got here? Estimated fatalities, 6,320,000 plus 4 million injuries. You're looking at about 10.5 million casualties, not including all of the casualties that you would have from this massive cloud of radioactive fallout. That is one nuclear weapon from one Sarmat missile, from one warhead.
Il faut que je link ça, moi.
On a Sarmat missile, okay? So this is serious stuff, and this is an interesting map to give you a visual understanding of, you know, what it would actually be like. Now, in terms of the prospect of this actually happening, we're going to talk about that in more detail in the coming days ahead. We actually had a video planned with the communist cameraman, but he's going to be taking some time off for more important things, as I indicated. But we're going to talk about the difference between strategic and tactical nukes in more detail. So you're going to have to sit tight for that, but for the next couple of weeks, you're probably just going to be seeing this old mug every day, you know, shooting the breeze about current events. But we do have some other videos that we have in the pipe that we haven't released yet that are more blue strip, high quality type stuff that you guys have grown accustomed to over the years. But these two resources, if you combine these two resources together, it will give you a good sense of what you might expect if we entered those sorts of dangerous waters that nobody wants to consider. Now, is it going to happen? That's the question. We're hearing rhetoric now from Biden, who's been saying what we've been saying for some time, in that, yes, we're at the highest risk of nuclear war that we've arguably ever been at. He says since 1962, since the Cuban Missile Crisis, which, if you recall, was the peak. That was the peak of fear and uncertainty and doubt around this particular issue. There was some times in the late 70s and early 80s where we arguably had come closer, and the DEFCON level might have been temporarily more elevated, but that was really the peak. This really does mirror the Cuban Missile Crisis in reverse, okay? Because you have Zelensky talking about, and of course he walked these comments back, he said that you should preemptively nuke Russia. Now, he walked it back, and then they said, oh, it was a poor translation, and what he actually meant was, we need to put sanctions on Russia. So I'm not sure how you go from preemptively nuking a country to, oh, I just meant sanction the country even more. Clearly, that's not working. And it's also out of line with a lot of his other demands and things of that nature. So is it going to happen is the question. Well, it could happen, guys. Where there is smoke, there is fire. You don't spend billions of dollars on these strategic sorts of weapons for no reason. Obviously, you hope you never have to use them. A lot of people think, oh, you know, we're wasting billions of dollars on these nukes and we're never going to use them. But a person who has worked in that industry will tell you that no, nuclear weapons are working every single day that war doesn't break out, and that some people might say, just like the Second Amendment, the nukes are like the Second Amendment for countries, I view it as. You know, if you have two countries that have nukes, there's a good chance that they won't go to war with each other because they know what the end result will be. In the same way that if you have two people who are firearms owners, there's a good chance that they're not going to, get in a gunfight because they know it would be fatal. It would be mad, right? Now, yeah, so definitely go and check that out. In terms of Biden's comments, a lot of people are on the Russian side are saying, oh, this is just propaganda. Well, what I'll say about a lot of those people, like, I'm not going to mention the channels, but you guys probably know who they are. There's a handful of channels on here who provide the Russian perspective, and most of these guys are
10
Russian.
minutes, Chouchou, on arrête.
What they're
10 minutes.
saying is that it's propaganda. Now, a lot of these guys have been dead wrong in their predictions. They said that the war would never happen in the first place. They said that it was all bluster and the West was, all full of it, and, Russia was not going to invade. Then they said that Russia was not going to mobilize more troops. And now they're saying that, oh, the nuclear stuff is all just fake. It's all just propaganda by the West. Well, I'll say where there's smoke, there's fire. Russia would not be building the world's biggest nuclear weapons and the most advanced nuclear delivery systems, anti-satellite systems, anti-missile defense systems for no reason. Okay, to think that, and especially they've been actually saying, well, not explicitly, Putin or anybody within, actually I shouldn't say anybody, Medvedev has explicitly stated that they will use nuclear weapons if needed, but Putin has not officially, explicitly come out and stated that we're going to nuke anybody or made any sort of conditions. However, he has basically said it more or less. He's implied it in terms of, Russia using all of its capabilities that it can bring to bear. I can't remember exactly what he said. So the threat is real, the threat is there, and it could potentially happen. Now, in terms of, are the Russians losing? Are the Russians in a position where they would need to use nuclear weapons? That is the question. Well, today on Putin's birthday, we see, this is just in Chechnya, so this is just Kadyrov's guys, who's now been promoted to third in command in the Russian military. And they had this massive celebration today. Thousands of troops, were assembled. And these guys all look very well equipped. And these guys are far from the front lines. So the notion that Russia is running out of stuff or, they don't have the capability is foolish. There are just trainloads upon trainloads of military equipment flowing into the 4 occupied territories. So the likelihood of a major Russian offensive being right around the corner is incredibly high. I mean, we pretty much know it's going to happen at this point. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen. Ukrainians have been making some small territorial gains. The problem with that is I do still think that they're being baited into a trap of sorts. The Russians are retreating to lines which are more heavily fortified, easy to fortify, and they're willing to lose a bit of ground because they're thinking about the long game. It's not about watching videos of tanks getting blown up or even these individual battles. It's about the long-term strategy. And that's what they're banking on. They know that, yeah, they might lose a bit of ground and territory equipment guys right now, but they have a lot of resources at their disposal. I doubt they've even tapped 5% of their military capability thus far. And the proof of that is in the simple fact that Kiev still exists. And I will beat this dead horse every single day. This is not a full-scale real war. If it was, you would not have presidents, prime ministers going to the capital of a country that is in the middle of a war zone. It just would not happen. So we know that there are some unique circumstances to this war, okay? Interestingly, just to briefly talk about other things going on in the world, the U.S. has claimed that if China goes into Taiwan, they are going to fly out the lead chip engineers. Okay, this is a part of their strategy. So if China does a blockade on Taiwan, they're going to fly out the guys who make the chips. So I guess that's really what they're worried about, and that's what I've been saying all along. So anyways, there's a lot of stuff moving around here. I'm not fully up to speed with respect to what is going on. It says here, estimates by the U.S. National Security Council project that a Chinese invasion.
Ah, c'est pas top cette map-ci, putain. C'est chaud, hein. Je le vois pas. Je vais pas assez vite moi. J'aurais dû les suivre, ils se soignent. Ah bon. C'est une map de merde pour se TP là-dessus. Hein? Je dois faire 4 TP sur des survivants, mais... Ils sonnent comme des fous, hein. Ah putain, mais ça marche pas. Merde. Ouais, salut Clem, comment vas-tu? Je suis concentré, attends. J'essaie juste de faire ma quête, j'aime pas trop de jouer plus que ça tueur donc. je passe chaque fois dans les palettes. Ah, si on avait un avec une boîte à outils, il me l'aurait déjà pété quelques fois, le crochet. Tu jouais pas... T'as pas match? Attends. Je vais aller mettre une... Je connais même pas la map en fait. Ça servait à rien de la soigner. Je vais la suivre, hein, Olaf. Je vais les tuer tous les deux. Hein. Allez, il TP pas, c'est chiant. Il TP pas, c'est super chiant en fait. Si j'appuie sur un autre bouton... Bon, on va attendre, on va se TP. Hein. J'espère que... Là, j'ai pas mis devant le crochet par contre. J'en ai combien? Encore 4. Allez. Ah, c'est laissé tuer, c'est laissé mourir. Merde. Ah bah je l'ai vu. Lol. Par contre crochet crochet caca ici, tu vois. Ouais, peut-être ici au-dessus. Ils sont morts tous. Bon, ça fera déjà logiquement, j'ai tapé 4 fois en TP, on est d'accord. Enfin, ou alors c'est TP et puis taper instant, mais si c'est TP puis courir et taper, bah ça doit être bon, j'espère. Allez. Ouais, c'est bon, on a fait la quête. Bon, c'était le principal, hein. Moi je fais juste mes rituels. Je suis tout full doré? Ouais, tout irisé. Bon, je vais mettre GG, mais est-ce qu'ils vont être contents? C'est pas. J'ai même pas utilisé. En fait, ce sort-là, tu vois, éruption là. J'ai même pas pu l'utiliser parce que lorsqu'un survivant se retrouve en état critique, tous les générateurs affectés explosent. Mais en gros, c'est après avoir endommagé un générateur, son aura apparaît en jaune. Mais en gros, je ne pouvais jamais les endommager parce que j'avais le sort ruine. Donc ils arrêtaient pas de régresser, donc je pouvais pas aller dessus pour les endommager, tu vois. Maintenant, peut-être que t'as d'abord ruine, ce sort-là, du coup, il me sert à rien pendant toute la game. S'il trouve mon totem, alors à ce moment-là, les génés que je tape, bah ils perdraient 10% au moment où je fais tomber quelqu'un, quoi. Bon, par contre, c'était... Je vais devoir arrêter parce que je dois aller surveiller les devoirs du petit. Il devait arrêter il y a déjà 5 minutes. 10 minutes même. Et commencer son travail à midi, il est toujours dans le bureau. Donc je vais stopper ici et je vais descendre le surveiller, ça va. Mais il doit lire son livre aussi. Je reviendrai peut-être tout à l'heure un petit peu, mais c'est pas sûr parce que j'ai de la visite à 16h pour parler de photovoltaïque. Et je dois le conduire à 2h chez ses grands-parents. Donc on verra bien si j'ai encore un petit peu de temps. Et le soir, je vais manger chez mes beaux-parents. Donc on verra. Mais c'est gentil d'être passé, Clem. Bon match demain si je te vois plus. Et bah écoute, bon après-midi.